there. Right. Okay, that looks good. Okay, now do that. Yes. Okay, we're live. Hey everybody, this is SamProof. Welcome to another episode of Kickin'. Today joining me is Nicole Day from Underground Comedy, a Kickstarter campaign for improv comedy in the LA area. It's a documentary about improv comedy in the LA area. Got it? Great. Yeah. Done. See you later. Bye. Cool. This has been great. So now this is actually a documentary that you've been shooting for a very long time, right? When did you start?
I started 2.5 years ago planning. Yeah. So it was like 6 months of getting all my equipment, producing, contacting all the theaters, figuring out my game plan. And then from July 2012 to July 2013, I filmed. And then for the past year, I've been documenting 160 hours of footage, producing, raising money, a lot of producing. Yeah. And now I'm at this place where hopefully if I get my Kickstarter goal, I'll be done by the end of September.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what is it that you're doing with the Kickstarter? Like, is that just to do all the post work? Or?
It's all the post work. Yeah. Well, it's for my editor, my color corrector, my sound guy, and some of the film insurance. It'll go a portion of that if I have anything left over. I mean, I need far more than $15,000, but right. What I need in order to make the film, which I won't already be putting my own money in, I need that $15,000 to help. Right. I probably need more, like $20,000 or $25,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like I know someone who just shot a documentary, and like color correction alone is more than your budget for this Kickstarter. Wow. For what he was looking at. Yeah. So he should be you got a deal.
I did get a deal. I have a really good color correctionist. That's surprising.
Yeah, it was an astounding number, and I was like,
what was the number?
I feel like it was 20. But yeah.
I have one of the best color correctionists in LA. That's very odd.
I don't know. I mean, no, wait. I could be lying. I think it might have been sound design.
Oh, that could definitely.
Yeah,
be
never mind.
Yeah.
I'm a big liar.
No.
Don't ever listen to me again. I'm the worst person here.
That's
Nicole, if you have questions for Nicole about the film, the project, any of the Kickstarter, any of that, you can leave them in the comments on the in the YouTube page, and I should actually bring that up so I can see them. Actually, I think they show up there. But okay, so let's take a quick look at the. We can pull it up right now and see where you're at.
Right, yeah.
All right. So this is Underground Comedy. Pretty cool. And all right, so 15,000. You have 3,000 so far. 26 days to go. So you're doing good.
Yeah.
What was your like right out of the gate? Because usually they say like the first 24 to 48 hours is kind of the mark. Like you should see like a big like you get not most of, but you get like a good percentage right away and at the very end, and then in the middle you kind of drag on.
Oh, I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
My first day I was so stressed out. You know, I've had about the same amount of people donate each of the 5 or 4 days I've been doing it.
Right.
Well, so it's been a constant.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
Good.
Yeah.
All right.
I haven't petered out yet.
Right. So who else is involved in this project with you?
I'm the director and producer. My editor is Rob Schultz, who is an amazing editor. He did
That's right.
The Show Will Get You High. He helped on that. He helped on the Kroll Show, Nick Kroll Show.
Yeah, that's right.
Just Kroll Show. Yeah, he's done a lot of stuff. Color correction is someone named Bossy Baker, who does a lot of music videos. Amazing color correctionist. My sound guy is Brent Kaiser. He won an Emmy. He's the fancy one out of all of us. Yeah, for something about Gettysburg on the History Channel.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
That'll do it, yeah. And that's about it for the post-production team. I have Elizabeth Ebeling, who is helping me with some effect work. Yeah.
She's helped me out with some stuff, too.
Oh, computer genius. If you ever need anything with computers and you have money, go to her.
Right?
She's great. Yeah, she's really nice. I'm trying to think, is there anyone else post-production-wise? that's about it.
Nice. Yeah, I've actually Rob Schultz. There's a video on my YouTube channel that we worked on together. So
He's great.
yeah,
he's really
a
good.
Guy.
Yeah.
He was probably one of the first people I met at UCB.
Me too.
Yeah,
That's funny.
Which is like our connection is basically through UCB.
Sure.
And did you take all the classes there?
Mm-hmm.
Did you take classes at any of the other, like IO or
I've
anything?
trained at UCB, IO, Groundlings, the Improv Space,
Wow.
and I'm forgetting one, in the Miles Strath Workshop.
That's...
A lot of people.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah. But I started at UCB. I've done my bulk at UCB. That's
Right.
where I like to focus.
As did I. Do you still do improv yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you just film it?
No, I
Yeah.
still do. I'm on 2 teams, and
Cool.
I was on a Herald team at IO,
Oh, okay.
but then they
got
rid of all their
all their
teams and
teams, yeah.
reassembled, and I was like, okay.
Which they do. What teams are you on right now? Who who with?
It's I don't know if you would know them, but
That's possible.
I'm on a lot of. They're like practice group teams that we kind of are starting to perform more. I was on a team for 3 years called Gay Moon. We performed at DCM for the last 3 years in a row.
Oh, nice.
Went to the Chicago Improv Festival. I was on IO team Sherman. I was on an Improv Space House team, and I have a lot of 2-person teams.
Oh, cool.
That I perform with. So
Nice. Okay. Cool. In all of your filming, is there like a moment of like just like what is your favorite improv game that happens?
game.
Yeah.
Like
Or scene, whatever you want to pinpoint.
I don't want to give too much away. I'll tell you the best teams I got on film. I have
Sure.
some really good shows of Shakedown, who
Okay.
runs Room 101. I have a really, 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 really good show with Lennon Parham and Zach Woods.
Okay.
Who else is a really good... I have a really good Trace. Their Second City team,
Mhm.
Frank Kayetti, and somebody who's on, I'm forgetting her name. She's on Super Fun Show, Super Big Fun Show. I don't know. It's that show with that Australian actress on ABC.
Oh, yeah, I kind of know what you're
I'm forgetting her
talking
name.
about.
She's probably one of my favorite performers
Okay.
in the entire documentary.
Nice.
She's amazing. She's from Canada. Who else is really good? There's some really good of the board from the Improv Space.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't want to reveal too much, but yeah, those
Sure,
are
of
some
course.
really good teams.
So is there like a story within this documentary, or is it just sort of a cinema verite look at improv?
So I filmed for an entire year, so that's the backbone of my entire film, from DCM 2012 to DCM 2013.
Okay.
And in that year, yes, there are stories. I follow certain people, kind of, so you get to see their story throughout the year. Like, one of the big storylines is the 2 people that were the artistic director of the Improv Space during that year. They're a married couple, Ashley and Danny, and at the beginning
Is
of
it
the year...
the New York one?
No, the Improv Space is a theater in Westwood.
Oh,
That's one of the theaters
okay,
I
okay.
filmed at, was the
Okay.
Improv Space, UCB, and the indie shows.
Okay, yeah.
And Ashley and Danny, at the beginning of my year, there was talk that Ashley wanted to have a baby. And she got pregnant, and then I did my sit-down interview with her like 2 weeks before she gave birth.
Okay.
So I have her entire birth process
Oh, wow.
in
Oh,
my
that's
her
cool.
entire pregnancy, yeah, which was really cool. And then there's other stories I follow throughout the year, but it's basically I go through the year, and when something happens in that year, then I flesh it out a little bit more, and there goes the sit-down interviews, and
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's comparing all 3 of these different theaters. I kind of group the indie show as one theater in itself.
Sure.
And yeah, there's storylines. And my main goal is to expose this side of improv that I don't think a general audience knows about. I think they
Right.
know Whose Line Is It
Yeah,
Anyway.
and it's all short form games and just like silliness and puns.
It's so much more different if you go to LA and you
Yeah,
really get immersed into this culture.
I mean, if you were here last week, I'm not on camera right now, Alex Fernie, who was my guest there, is just like so opposite from what you would ever see in like, Whose Line. Because he's just, like, his team Convoy is just like the most cerebral, And like, have you seen them?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and they're amazing. And it's
good shows at them too.
Yeah, they make you laugh, they make you cry. No, I don't think I've ever cried at improv.
I've seen some unparalleled. Whose Line is great. It's great.
No, it is.
Yeah, it's just
it's just not the same.
Yeah, it's just two different things, and I'm not sure. I mean, what's hot in the improv world is kind of like UCB, and
right.
And it's hard to capture it on film, people say.
Yes.
And I think that's why this hasn't been exposed, and the culture hasn't been exposed.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing, too. I want to expose this very specific niche culture that's so popular, but is still kind of like this underground thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's true. It's definitely very hard to capture. I mean, do you have, when you're shooting shows, or I assume you are showing the shows themselves as well.
Showing the show?
Like the improv performances, not just following the players.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of improv in it, yeah.
Are you just shooting them with one camera, or do you have multiple cameras?
'Cause
it's like the same as, shooting theater. You just have one big wide shot, and that's going to be boring.
I shot with my professional grade camera, and then I had a flip camera.
Okay.
And the flip camera is kind of like, has an underground grainy feel to
Sure.
it. And a lot of the aesthetic of my film is going to come in post with color correction,
Sure.
as you could probably see if you watch the trailer. So I had two cameras. If it was a big show, I had two people filming.
That's good.
I'm trying to capture the underground quality of
Yeah.
this improv community, so I wasn't looking to have perfect cameras set up everywhere, getting
Sure.
the perfect angles.
Right,
I was
right.
trying to go for that kind of rough feel.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's where, when I've seen improv on film, it doesn't translate to me as what I witness when I go to a theater, because it's too polished, it's too clean. There's one instance I'm thinking of where I saw improv on TV.
Okay.
And they try to make it so clean, and it was
Right.
long form, and they were trying to make it like, it was and it was in the vein of, sorry, I'm fragmented today. It was in
It's
the
okay.
vein of, Whose Line Is It Anyway? But
Yeah.
they were kind of trying to do long form, and I was like, this isn't.
This is like really bright and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's not what
Yeah.
it is. It's going into a really crappy theater with
Yeah.
15 people, and the theater only holds 6.
Right.
And
Yeah.
really taboo stuff on stage. Like, that's what it is when I think of it. So I'm
Sure.
trying to show that.
Yeah. No, I get that. That's cool. Yeah, it's almost all black boxes, and just, it's dark, and it looks like if you don't go where you're supposed to go, you'll get a splinter, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Which I love. I love that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we came up through. Yeah.
So I want that feel
Sure.
that you were just
Yeah.
describing.
You should just cover the DVD box in splinters. Like, everyone open carefully.
Cigarette butts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to drink, donate some money.
Bottle of water or beer. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite performance space as a performer?
I mean, I think everyone in this town would say UCB, because you have
Yeah.
a full audience, and it's not.
Oh, that's true.
It's not just other improvisers waiting to get on stage.
Yeah.
So yeah, UCB. I love the Improv Space because it's really interesting. One night there can be 3 people in the audience. One night the entire theater can be packed with UCLA students. So their location on the UCLA campus is very interesting.
Right.
Yeah,
I've actually not been out to that one yet.
It's great. There's a lot of heart to it. There's a lot of history to it. It's been
Nice.
around more than UCBLA, and it used to be called Ultimate Improv. And Heather Campbell came up through Ultimate Improv. She was there for a decade.
Oh, Heather's great.
Heather's great.
Which
Matt
is
Jones
ironic
was there.
because she's done Whose Line, or not Whose Line? Sorry,
She's on Whose Line.
Oh, it is Whose Line.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it was Drew's other thing, but yeah,
She's been on that too. The other thing. Yeah.
the green screen show or whatever it was.
I forget what it was
that
called. She was on something else before
Yeah.
Whose Line, which was produced by Drew Carey.
Yeah, he loves her.
Yeah.
And rightfully so, because Heather Campbell's amazing.
She is.
But I cut you off, so.
I forget what I was saying. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she came up through Ultimate Improv, which used to be the Improv Space, which was previously before the Improv Space. Matt Jones was there.
Oh, Matt's great.
Matt's great.
Badger from Breaking Bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Scott Rogers was there. Who else? There was a lot of really good performers. Kevin Manmoran's still there. Gian Molina.
Oh, Gian's good too.
Yeah, Gian's great. So it's this really has a lot of rich history, that theater.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Where are we? So now, what were you were saying? You had the flip camera. What was the other camera you were using?
Panasonic AC-130.
Okay. And then how were you doing sound?
Sound, I had a mic attached to my camera, and then I had a Zoom, and then I had another thing that was like a Zoom, which is a Sony product.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Which it tended to work out. And then for my sit-down interviews, I had a lav, so.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So for those interested in doing their own Kickstarter, how much time did you put into, like, pre-launch?
I mean, not the trailer
Do you feel
itself
like you should have done more at that, like,
oh,
do you feel
no,
like you
I was
rushed it or anything like that?
No, I don't
okay.
think I rushed it. I had to wait for a good solid 3 months to get releases signed by 2 people and to go through their lawyers. So through that 3 months of me just waiting,
You just had time to set up.
yeah. I not too much went into it. I knew how much I needed. I had my trailer. I wrote my description. I came up with some really good rewards, and I just went from there.
Well, let's talk about what are your perks for the Kickstarter. Obviously, you get to see the documentary.
Sure,
in one form or another, right?
I'm really proud of my perks. My friend Asterios Kokonos, who's
he's
a stand-up.
very good. Yeah,
it's great. He wrote on my Facebook wall the other day, "These are the best rewards I've ever seen on a Kickstarter."
Oh yeah.
And I am not being modest about it. They are. It's for $25. You get the DVD.
Sure.
And I'm including in it DVD extras. I have 160 hours of footage.
That's insane.
That's insane.
Does
I
that
filmed
even
for a
fit
year.
on a DVD?
Well, no, I'm not going to put all that in the DVD,
Right.
but just in general, I have 160 hours of footage. And then what the film's going to be 75 minutes. So I have so much footage. I have 24 sit-down interviews, and most of those interviews lasted. Matt Walsh was the shortest. That was 45 minutes. I think the longest was like 3 hours, 15 minutes.
Okay.
So I have all this great footage that I won't be able to use from so many good improvisers and so much good stuff I just can't possibly fit in. So I'm going to include the DVD extras of tons of freaking footage from people like Matt Besser, Matt Walsh, Ian Roberts.
Like the original UC-Beers.
All the original ones. Billy Merritt, Convoy, or I got Alex Berg and then Alex Fernie and Todd Fasten. Brian O'Connell, Miles Stroth, Heather Campbell. I just have this amazing list of people that I sat down for like 3 hours talking about improv with. So I'm going to include tons of DVD extras if you just give $25.
Wow.
Yeah. $50, you get that. You get the DVD, plus I will come within 5 to 7 miles of Wilshire and La Brea, and I will come film 30 minutes of whatever you need filmed.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're doing a stand-up, if you're doing sketch, I'll come film for 30 minutes. I won't edit it, but I'll give you the footage. It's $50.
That's great.
It's a great deal.
Yeah, it's really good.
100, you get a special thanks in the credits and special thanks on IMDb, and you get the DVD.
Mm-hmm.
200, I will film 4 hours of whatever you need filmed, and then I have lighting equipment, sound, all that stuff. And then you get the DVD as well. Also for 200, I'm a Pilates teacher, so if you wanted to go the Pilates route, I will do 2 1-hour personal training sessions.
Is it comedy-specific Pilates?
I can be comedic. I incorporate comedy in all my classes.
That would be great.
And then, 500, I'll film 6 hours of whatever you want filmed, and I'll edit the project.
Wow.
That's including color correction and sound and all that stuff. 1,000, you become a co-producer. 10,000, co-executive producer.
That's really good. Yeah, that's good.
I'm proud of him.
Yeah. And it's going well so far. Has anyone purchased shoot time yet?
Yeah, I have several 50s. Yeah.
Nice.
I think I have like 9 or 10 people.
So you're going to be busy for a little while.
Yeah, I said it'll start, the offer's valid through October 2014 to 2015, and if I'm not available, I'll try my hardest to be available, but if I'm not, you'll have to book me another time.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm getting a lot of 50s, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
I
really
got
good.
one 200 for filming, so.
Oh, nice.
Then I got another 200, but they didn't ask for a reward.
Do you know what any of those things are yet, or you don't really figure that out until after?
No, I'm sure they'll just tell me when it comes up. So.
So how familiar were you with Kickstarter before you started to do your own?
Not really. I mean, I read the website and I read the facts, and that's about it. I was familiar in the sense of I've had people ask me for money through Kickstarter, and the ones that I gave to were the ones that already had. I've had people ask me for money through Kickstarter that were like producing a play, and they were asking for $5,000, and I didn't give to those because I was like, I kind of want something that's either already made or being made.
Yeah. In
the process of being made. I'm sure they were great productions.
Right.
And I donated to Harrison Brown's Kickstarter.
Oh, his bike documentary?
Biking from Alaska to Florida, because that's just amazing.
Yeah.
What else did I donate to? I donated to the Clubhouse, the new theater.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I just knew me going in it personally. I've had a lot of people ask me, like, we're going to do a pilot, and they don't even have a trailer yet. Or, I'm going to do this movie. I need something tangible first for me to give you money.
Yeah, you have to show something.
Yeah.
Like, have a video. It kind of drives me crazy, like, being on this side of it, of producing a show about Kickstarters, when people, like, approach me and I'm like, all you have is, like, words. You don't, you have one picture. What am I supposed to learn about your project? And it's like, have that eye. I don't know. But yeah, I think yours looks pretty good. The trailer's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Like, looking back, would you do anything different, do you think?
The trailer? Yeah.
Yeah.
I made the trailer. UCB was having a showcase for their talent, and I asked Mike Still, the artistic director, I go, can I include the trailer to my film? And I didn't have a trailer yet. And he goes, yeah, that sounds great. The show's in 5 days or something. I was like, okay. So I had 5 days to make my trailer. So I was in the biggest time crunch of my life. I didn't have a sound guy yet. I just met my colorist. I was getting all this footage together for Rob to help me edit down. So Rob did a great job, though, I feel, with the trailer. There's one little part I wanted to change, but that's okay.
Let's out him right now.
No, he did a great job. Rob's a phenomenal. If you ever need an editor, Rob Schultz is beyond talented.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a couple things I would change, but for the most part, I'm pretty happy with it.
Cool. And is there anything that you feel like you've learned in running a Kickstarter that, like tips you would give to people if they were like, hey, you've done one, what do you think I should do?
I had somebody that gave me the advice. Yeah. He had a really successful Kickstarter. I asked him, I go, what's your advice? He goes, I was on my computer 8 to 10 hours a day. Yeah. And I was like... After the launch, during those 30 days.
It's a full-time job.
It's a full-time job. And I had no idea what he was talking about. I'm like, what are you doing online for 8 to 10 hours a day? I know now.
Right.
It's just going to every single Facebook page group that you think would have any sort of interest in this, contacting all these people. It's a full-time job.
Yeah.
I'm not doing a lot in this month besides the Kickstarter. Right. So I would also recommend, I don't think people take it for granted, but I'm really not taking it for granted. I realize how much money $15,000 is.
Sure.
And yeah, I'm not taking it for granted. And every time somebody is donating to my film, I've been thanking them personally on Facebook.
That's great.
Because I didn't even plan it. I was like, how can't I not write on their Facebook wall right now?
Right.
So really not taking anything for granted, and really, for people to give, I'm just blown away. Every time somebody gives me like $100, I'm like, I can't believe you're giving me $100 to make this. Like, I almost want to cry when it's amazing. I thought I'd get a lot of 25s.
Sure.
It's so touching when I'm just like, 150, 75. Like, oh my God, this is just, it's so touching. It's so touching. So really take what's happening. Don't take it for granted.
Yeah. Well, and I think that sort of personal touch to it is what people kind of want. Like, they kind of maybe expect, in a Kickstarter, like, there's the difference between those sort of corporations that are putting things out or like people who just kind of put them up, and like the people that have this sort of personal connection to it, like, this is your dream, this is, all your heart is in this. And I think that comes across, and people empathize and attach themselves to those project creators that wear their hearts on their sleeves.
Yeah,
So
with Harrison's Kickstarter, I was like, oh my god, I really want him to get this.
Well, his is such. I wish his is way over, right? I should just have him on as like because usually I just do active campaigns, but I should have him on anyway because it's such a cool thing. And like, I knew him way before that, and like watched him just sort of like cultivate this little thing in his life where like. He didn't ride bikes when I knew him, and he just...
Oh, really?
I mean, maybe he did, but not to that extent.
Uh-huh.
And, like, he got way in shape and, like, just took this direction. It was, like, just watching this thing happen was so neat, you know? Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah. Very admirable. So, and he's a fun guy.
He's the definition of fun, yes.
Yeah. Have you donated to any other Kickstarters lately? I'm always looking for the next thing to bring on.
I mean, well, I think I've donated to the Clubhouse, I've donated to Harrison's, I donated to Channel Zero.
Yeah, we had them on last week, yeah.
Yes, I know a lot of people involved with that. And the guy, the main director, I've never met him before, ever.
No, I hadn't either.
And he was very sweet my first day. He, like, donated to my project. I've never met him. It was kind of like, I felt bad. I specifically needed to start my Kickstarter when I did, because I have a very specific deadline that I'm trying to meet.
Oh, yeah.
So I wanted to wait till theirs was done, but I started it a week. They have a week left, and at first I wrote Kevin Peterson a message like, sorry, I'm starting this now. And I just thought it was really sweet. This guy I've never met just immediately contributed to my film, which was very sweet of him.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We have some comments in the chat. I hope I'm saying this right. Kirsten Barry says, such an important documentary for improv and comedy. And Natalie Gear said, I'm excited to see the finished product. Go Nicole. Friends of yours?
She's my friend from middle school. I love that.
Awesome.
Yeah,
super
she's
cool.
so cool. Kirsten. Oh, and Kirsten's great too. That's very sweet.
Oh, that's very cool.
People are watching this. Nothing to you, just to me.
No, I'm excited too.
Yeah.
I should have put myself on screen when I read those names. Hello, ladies.
Hi.
I'm back over here now, and then I'll ask other stuff while you're on camera. No,
Okay.
No, that's super cool. Do you get a lot of that sort of the past popping up to help support you?
I've been popping into the past. My 10-year high school reunion just happened.
Oh, that's awesome. Well played.
I've kind of turned the Facebook page into my... Well, first I started into, like, my bit page. It was, like, an opportunity for me to just do bits. And then my Kickstarter started. And then I got quite a bit of people from... somebody from elementary school I haven't seen since 5th grade donated. And I'm not doing it in a way I don't want them to think I'm doing it just to get money. I am essentially going there to get their donations.
Right.
But it's fun to like all of a sudden talk to somebody from 5th grade they hadn't talked to. And I do dearly love all the people I went to high school with.
That's
and
cool.
Think of them fondly. So hopefully no one's pissed off at me for ruining their Facebook page with jokes and bits. So
well, it's always that's kind of the thing with any Facebook thing that I post, because 200 to 300 of my friends are UCB iOS people, and it's like, if I have something serious to say, how soon do the bits begin?
Oh yeah.
Like, hey guys, I'm looking for a dog kennel. That's nope, just erase it.
Yeah.
Not gonna be worth it.
Yeah.
But it's funny you should say that, because I may have to start a new, launch a Kickstarter of my own, because I just got cast on a reality show about filmmaking.
Oh, cool.
And there's a Facebook page for it. They're like, oh, I could totally use that.
You gotta get smart with your social... Somebody told me, and an acting teacher once told me, he's like, you're graduating from his acting class,
Yeah.
and he goes, don't be afraid in your career to ask for help when you need help.
Mm-hmm.
And I financed this film up until now. It's been quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
It's not like, and I realized I was like, if I had $15,000 in my bank account, I would use the entire $15,000 to finance this. I don't right now. So I was just like, I need help to finish this, or it's going to be another 3.5 years, or it's going to be another 1.5 years until I do have the funds to do this. So I kind of took that advice of like, okay, I do need to ask for help. I have a cast of nearly 320 people. Hopefully they'll donate. Like
most friends of my Facebook page.
yeah, exactly. But I was just like, okay, I think this is it's a project about the community. Hopefully the community will chip in, and so far they have been. So
I imagine they would. I mean, have you seen any like donations from people that you were like, I have no idea who that is?
Yeah, well, I got 2 Australian backers.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, my first backer was this Australian guy, and my second, or like my 10th was another Australian guy.
Wow.
I've gotten several from the UCB Underground Network.
Yeah.
I've been pushing the DVD, so people are interested in that. Yeah, I've gotten several that I'm like, I kind of know you. You look familiar.
Right.
And them donating, so that's great.
Well, yeah, it definitely seems like you had support, because when I put out a thing pretty much every week, like, who should I have on? And a few people were like, get Nicole on. And I was like, yeah. Especially Chan, who was like, he was belligerent, drunk, and no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Doing his podcast on Wednesday. I'm
yeah,
scared.
we should totally pimp that. So you're doing the Science Jerks.
I am on Wednesday.
Which is a really good segue crossover, because the Science Jerks do stuff on my YouTube channel.
Cool.
Which, if you're already on watching this, go look at the other videos for weird news, and you'll see Chan and David Chacho, who should be on the Science Jerks. Do you know what you're doing for the Science Jerks yet?
I don't listen to podcasts, so I have no idea. I don't know what I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know what the format is or anything, so.
You know, it's been a while since I've listened to that. Like, I've been on it, and I haven't really listened to the archive much.
So there's just like a science theme?
It's like science news. They do like, they all bring in stories and pitch stories, and then like kind of talk about it and stuff like that, from what I recall. And then they, do bits.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it should be really good. They're all very smart and funny.
They are.
Yeah. So they didn't ask you to bring a story or anything like that. You don't know what you're doing. Okay. All right. It's probably gonna end up in a video.
Am I? That's exciting.
Maybe. I don't know. You should ask.
Yeah, I should ask.
I'm sure they do those the same day.
I didn't even know they do like videos with it.
Yeah. Oh, I should totally.
I'll research.
I wish I just had those queued up and ready to go. I'd be like, oh, they look just like this. Click, clink.
Okay.
Yeah. No, they're good. Is there anything else that you feel like you want to put out there about this project?
Yeah, I think it's really one of a kind. I think it's getting cut together as we speak, and I hope it doesn't sound like I'm tooting my own horn, but I feel like it really is one of a kind, and there's not a lot of documentaries on improv, and the ones there are, either it shows it in this generalized, hokey, kind of stereotyped manner. It's reduced down to a generalization, basically, that's not very accurate to what modern improv is.
Right.
And the second is very smart and intelligent, but often goes over the head of just a normal, everyday Joe that's never done improv before.
Right.
So they're talking about game theory and, like, all these specifics where the herald, the beats of a herald. I was interviewing somebody, and they go, has somebody defined what a herald is yet? I go, no. They were really surprised I haven't got a herald definition. I was like, it's just not trying to show the culture more. Yeah, I'm trying to show this very cool culture and subculture of performance that's so popular right now, but I don't think anyone knows about it. So, yeah, it's one of a kind. I really think if somebody else was making this project, I would definitely donate to it.
Well, it's an interesting thought. How did you actually find improv? Because I think that's actually, it is such an underground thing, and like prior to moving to LA myself, I honestly, I don't even know if I knew, like the Who's Line, kind of thing. And it was just a friend of a friend who was like, I'm doing a show. And then he was like, let's go to this because I'm trying to get with this girl. And I was like, okay, whatever, dude. And honestly, the first show I saw was kind of terrible, but I went back anyway, So it's like, what was your introduction to improv?
It was my first week in LA, and I was looking at The Onion, and there was an ad for UCB, and I saw this really cool logo. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then
the 3D glasses.
Yeah, and then Justin Timberlake had a quote saying, like, if I wasn't doing what I'm doing now, which is being a very successful celebrity, I would be taking classes at UCB. And I thought,
so
that's
random.
interesting for him to say.
Yeah.
And so I went to my first show, which was bad as well. It was a Herald team that had looking back on it, it was probably one of the worst Heralds I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But it was good enough where I was like, yeah, I'm interested in this.
Right.
And then I found the indie scene. The first month I moved out here was the first month TNT started, which is crazy. And TNT was the first indie show in LA that was UCB satellite. Mm-hmm. And I found that out. I feel like someone I was in line with at UCB mentioned it to me.
Yeah.
I don't even know, but that was as underground as it gets. It was in this little closet. It was all these people on stage and Colton just being in every single scene.
Right.
And I was so addicted to it. I went every Tuesday. And I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
This is so funny what's happening. It looks like we're in Anne Frank's attic. And it was so great, and I loved it. So I found out through being in line at UCB, and I wouldn't have known any other way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I don't remember how I found out about TNT.
I don't exactly either.
But it's funny because that was Harrison's project. He
Harrison
started
and
that.
Jonathan, yeah.
And like the first or second time I walked. I don't remember why. Maybe it might have been that time I crashed my car or something like that, and I just didn't have a car. So I basically walked like 30 to 40 minutes to get from my apartment to TNT, and then for the next 2 or 3 months, Harrison would give me a ride home every time. Yeah. It was like, it was so cool.
I remember I performed, and afterwards he ran up to come find me. He was like, hey, you're from Colorado. I think his stepdad lives in Colorado or something like that. He was like, he just went out of his way to introduce himself to me. And I felt it was my second or third week in LA. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this guy's so nice, and this is such a cool thing that's happening. Yeah.
It was definitely, there was something about that whole TNT thing that was like, I was doing all the UCB stuff, and that was super cool, but the heart and soul was TNT,
It was just so much fun. And I remember Scott Rogers would come every week, and Josh Simpson, Haley Mancini, and Megan Falcone, and Colton, and James Ross.
Yeah.
And I thought it was so cool. They're drinking beer on stage while they're improvising, and we had to throw money in a bucket, and they were really emphasizing if we didn't do that, they couldn't throw the show the next day.
Right, yeah.
And it's interesting, Matt Whitlock, who's a big character in my film, he says when I was interviewing him, it's underground because you find out about UCB if you know about a show that happened in the 90s. Was it the 90s on Comedy Central?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then through that, maybe you're introduced from the indie scene from there. I think UCB is more known now.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's
they have people on SNL and all over the place now.
Sure, it's become something.
They've kind of become what the Groundlings were in the 90s. Because, back then, everyone was trying to get Groundlings, and now everyone's trying to get UCBers.
It's very popular right now.
Yes.
Groundlings is still very popular, but UCB's
I think
grown
that's
to
the
be
new
popular as well.
Yeah.
But, I don't want to give something away in my film. Never mind.
Sure.
I was going to reveal it's popular, but it's still underground in very many ways.
Right. Right on. That's really cool. I miss all those TNT days.
I just thought it was so cool that I came out the first month it started, the indie shows.
Right.
I had no idea what was going on. And it was just so cool. It was so much fun to go there every Tuesday. It was so much fun.
Yeah. Did you, I would assume you spent a lot of time at Camp Hollywood, which was Colton's place.
I didn't go to the parties that much. I don't like going to parties that much.
Yeah.
But I did boot camp.
Oh, okay.
With Susie Barrett, and then Susie Barrett. I did improv, and then I took a 2-year break, and then I got back into improv again, and I got back into improv through doing Susie Barrett's boot camps. And Susie 1 month couldn't do a boot camp, and I was like back into improv, and I was addicted to it. I didn't want to stop, and I was like, I just wanted to keep getting better at it. That was where the addiction came from, and I didn't want to take a month break, so I approached Colton Dunn. I forget why I approached Colton too. Oh, I think I heard he used to do boot camps, and I asked him, I go, are you still doing boot camps? He goes, no. I go, would you do a boot camp if I got enough people? He goes, sure. And him and Scott, I put together a boot camp.
I remember when they did that.
And
all right.
Scott came up to me. It was really sweet. I love Scott. Scott was like, I just want to let you know that, like, Colton and I were really strapped for cash, and we thought we would have to move out of Camp Hollywood,
that.
I think.
Yeah.
He goes, and you just came along and said that, and we were just like, I guess we don't have to move out.
Yeah.
And I was really touched by that. I was like, oh, well, that's great. I'm really happy.
Yeah.
I could be phrasing what he said to me wrong, but it was something along the lines of, we really needed that money. Thank you for doing this.
No, I hung out with a lot of those guys at that time, and I remember when all of that kind of went down, and then they started doing that, and I was like, oh, random. But I didn't know that that's how that went down. That's really funny.
We did it for I did it for 3 months, I think. I learned a lot. I loved that living room.
Yeah.
And they're both, Colton and Scott are both very good teachers. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I had Colton for sketch. So
I'm sure that was very cool.
That was really good. Yeah. I actually, it's funny because I took 2 sketch courses through UCB. And I very much remember Colton's, and I don't even remember who else taught the other class.
Oh, man, I bet. He's memorable. He gave me, last year for my mod packet, I was like, can you give me notes?
Nice.
He was like, yeah, man. He was really into it. And he gave me the funniest notes in the, like, I couldn't keep a lot of them because it was just he's just so funny. He took my games. He's like, yeah, this is kind of funny, but do this. And then, like, just presented me with, like, a whole other sketch, which was just so Colton, his humor. He's great. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
No, it was really nice of him to take time out of his busy schedule to give me notes on my mod packet, so.
Yeah. We're addressing these super past the time they get posted, but Natalie said, I loved the UCB TV show so much. Did you actually ever see it?
I love it. Yeah. I loved it so much. 3rd season just popped up.
Yeah.
You can get on... I forgot.
On Netflix? Or?
I forget. Besser put on Facebook the other day, finally I can announce that season 3 is out. I think it's on DVD.
Oh, okay.
I just forgot about this. Someone reminded me the other day that on the show they hate astronauts. I forgot about that. You remember?
Oh, God.
And that's the running.
So long. Yeah. Okay.
It's the running game throughout all of their sketches. Is they hate astronauts, and astronauts are like pieces of human garbage. It's so funny. The show's brilliant.
Yeah.
It was really.
I don't know that I've seen them all, but.
I don't think I've seen the 3rd season.
Yeah, I definitely don't think I've seen the 3rd season.
It's so good, Natalie. You're right. It's so good.
Yeah, I have to go. I have to go right now. So I'll see you later. Watch some UCB.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, that's good. I hope they put them on Netflix. Cause that would be good.
Yeah, you think they would. I know Netflix is hard to get stuff on Instant Watch, but I feel like...
Yeah, at least the DVDs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a feeling my wife would hate it.
Oh, really? That's funny.
I don't know.
So funny.
Yeah. No, it is. And it's... She doesn't... Like, She dated someone prior to me who did the improv scene. Weird. Yeah, super weird, guys. So, like, she was already kind of tainted against improv when I came along. So I only ever got her out to, like, one, like, student show kind of thing. And I was
funny.
like, this isn't a good example. Oh, no, it wasn't a student show. It was a cage match. We got our asses handed to us. I forget what the team was, but it had Eugene and some other really big power players on it.
That's another storyline in my film.
The cage matches?
Because the year that I filmed was when Heather and Miles was going on.
Oh, wow.
And when they got beat. And when they played Derek.
Right.
So all of that is documented in my film as well.
That's really funny because Fernie was on last week and we talked about the convoy run and then, Heather and their run.
I have their show on film. It'll be a part of my documentary.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Do you have like, how many of them? Because how long did they go?
Oh man,
Convoy went something like, what, 44 shows?
I think they went. I don't know.
42.
Over 50, I think.
Did they really? Yeah.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, they went for quite a while. Their last show was really good. Both of the teams, Murder Cliff and Heather Miles. I watched both of them. I wasn't at the show, but I watched the videos.
Yeah.
They both had both teams had amazing shows. Heather and Miles did a Shakespeare theme.
Nice.
And it was so good.
Yeah.
It was so good. Yeah. And then I love Murder Cliff because they do their rapping openings.
Who's
so
on
good.
Murder Cliff again?
Jess McKenna.
Okay.
Dan Foster, who's very funny.
Yeah.
Zach Rhino. Is it Reno? Rhino. Sorry, Zach.
Yeah.
And then the other, and Darian Clark, and I don't really know the other two
Nice.
too well, but they're such a good team, and it was a really good show. I watched it on video.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
Yeah, well.
I didn't get to see any of the Heather and Miles stuff. I was out at that point. Like, yeah, I like.
You were having a baby.
I was busy having a life,
Yeah.
an entire life. Yeah, I basically made the choice of like, do I do improv or do I do a life? And then never went back to improv, and I feel like every once in a while I'm just like, oh.
That's a theme of my film too.
Yeah.
What you're talking about. Yeah. I think you did the good.
Yeah.
The good choice.
Yeah, my daughter's pretty amazing, so I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
I'll imbue her with all my improv knowledge of Harold and moon Nazis, because that's the epitome of every heightening is you're on the moon and there's Nazis.
Super AIDS, yeah.
And super AIDS. Yeah, moon Nazis with super AIDS. The end.
You've heard Billy Merritt say that. That's the ultimate heighten.
Right.
Is somebody has super AIDS. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Yeah, Billy Merritt is also by far probably my favorite coach.
Yeah, Billy's
he's one of
my favorite humans. He's great.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
He's so nice. I love how much he fucks with his students. It's so funny to me. I had a class with him, and I would say suggestions, and he just kept looking back at me and going. And then one time I said something like pizza, and he looked back at me and he was like. I just started naming food, and I was like,
that's all it takes is food.
I was like sesame chicken, and he'd be like,
Merlot. Yeah.
It's so funny. He
had a drinking show or an eating show? I don't even remember anymore, but yeah.
An ex-boyfriend and I had a Billy Merritt marathon where we watched that show.
No way.
And
what's it called?
I forget what it's called.
God.
But I'm gonna talk Frank, Billy, if you're watching, or if someone tells him. There's not enough. I was expecting weird Billy Merritt humor.
Yeah.
There's none. We caught one slip-up joke where it was like something really weird he said, but for the most part, it's pretty like vanilla.
This Merlot is like super AIDS in my mouth.
Yeah, he said that. But yeah, it was a great show. But we were expecting it to be weird, like Billy, but it wasn't. But it's a great show.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd actually have to go check that out. I've always been curious, and then I kind of always forget about it. And I assume that it's just like, oh, we took this thing and we put it in a suit and made it eat food and act normal. I feel like it's not going to be entertaining at all.
I was entertaining. It was just, I was expecting.
Yeah. And I just realized, I just called Billy Merritt a thing. No, sorry, Billy. That's not how I meant that to be. I meant to say funny thing. And
funny thing, yes.
Anyway.
Very funny.
Well, cool. That's awesome. Well, good luck with the campaign.
Thank you.
Continued success.
It's going well.
Yeah, I can't wait to see like 109,000 hours of comedy.
I will give you a lot of DVD extras. I'm not just gonna give all the footage. I'm gonna give you the good stuff. So.
Yeah, you should do an entire DVD of just Heather and Miles if you can, because I think I would be super interested in that myself. But you probably have to get special permission to do it in that level, maybe. I don't know.
What do you mean?
Like, how do you have...
The footage I have, as long as the releases are signed.
Yeah, that's true.
It's fine, but I think I was gonna do, when the film actually gets distribution, I was gonna do DVD extras.
Yeah.
And then like improv geek DVD extras.
Yeah.
So if you're like an improv geek and you want to hear about heralds and all these different forms, you can watch the geek extras, and then you can watch the extras of just what's generally entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, cool. You can find everything. Let's put me back on here. on Kickstarter at Underground Network. Well, let's see. Do we have the actual? No, it's a very confusing link, but it should be in the description under
Somebody
my.
added while we were doing this.
Hey,
Hey.
oh, yeah. I love that it auto updates now. You
Yeah.
can just sit back and watch it. Like
nice.
when Reading Rainbow launched, we were at work just watching the numbers roll.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's cool.
we saw them get almost to the 2 million point.
That was amazing.
Yeah,
It's still amazing.
Yeah, their whole campaign is crazy.
I read an article. There's always somebody that has to be a naysayer. There's an article about like, you shouldn't donate to this. I was like, what? And I read the article. It was just somebody that was.
It's dumb.
It was so his points were useless, and I was just like, man.
You know, it's one thing to be a naysayer against when like Zach Braff did his or like Sean Astin to a point, and I'll tell you that straight out. The reason you shouldn't naysay for that is that the statistics came in after they did their campaigns, and they brought more people to Kickstarter. You know,
Oh,
so
that
it's
hadn't
like,
been there before.
yeah. So
Oh,
it's like
interesting.
you're just expanding the donating pool. They're doing you a service. But with Reading Rainbow,
I was so shocked.
Oh, we want to teach kids? Oh, you're Nazis. Like, you know, come on.
For free? Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And
like,
I think I forget the exact what he was saying in the article, but it's something. I didn't think the guy understood how much it costs to make these videos, these Reading Rainbow videos,
Yeah.
and to have the application. And
yeah.
it costs Funny or Die. My friend told me the other day it costs about $20,000 each video to pop out those videos.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's pretty relatively cheap for one of those videos. Like, imagine a Reading Rainbow video; it's just as much.
Right.
It costs a lot to make those
Yeah.
videos. So.
Yeah, I mean, you're dealing with full film crews of
Mhm.
like, you know, 3 to 4 camera guys and like sound guys and a director. It's
They're
it's
not
a
working for free.
giant it's a full TV whatever crew.
Yeah.
So it's like 50 people.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, but yeah, you can find the link to your campaign in the description below. You just look for project and the URL, and it take you right to that. Do you have other websites or anything like that you want to put out there?
I mean, my website is www.nicole-day.com if you want to know about my acting stuff. Gun Barrel Productions is my production company. I forget the exact URL for that, but if you Google Gun Barrel Productions, I have several things that I'm producing. That's about it.
Ooh, what do you got next? If you
Oh,
you don't have to.
Yeah, I can. I just had a film premiere at the Dances with Films Film Festival with Jonathan Smith.
Oh, nice.
We co-executive produced it together, and it premiered at the Chinese Man Theater, which was really cool.
Wait, is he back in LA?
He came back for the premiere, but now
cool.
he's in New York.
Okay.
And I have several projects I'm doing right now. If you go on the website, I guess you can...
Find out about those. I'm not on screen.
There we go. There
Find
we go.
out about those. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having
Cool.
me.
Awesome. Well, I'll come back next time you are doing Kickstarter.
Okay.
Cool. All right, guys, and thanks for watching us. I will be...
Thanks, Natalie.
Yeah, and
Thanks,
Kirsten.
Kirsten, thank you.
Oh, yeah, let's just double check if anyone else... No, Natalie said one other thing, which was, I torrent everything. So, Matt Besser's losing out on that.
It's funny.
But yeah, you can join me at 4 p.m., which is in about 1 hour, over at younow.com/SamProof, and we're going to play Pictionary. All right, thanks, and we'll see you next time, guys. Waves. All right. Oh, wait, I always disconnect the wrong thing first. And stop. Yes. Cool.